President Biden bailing on a huge speech about inflation today as Democrats beg Joe to take action. Vulnerable liberals are reportedly worried the supply chain crisis is going to bite them in next year's midterms. Biden was supposed to reassure Americans after meeting with top CEOs about this issue earlier, but he abruptly scrapped those plans and rescheduled the speech for Wednesday. Jesse, what does this mean, this rescheduling?
My sources,
for not 1 day, but for 2 days. Yeah. What are your sources telling you?
My sources are saying Hunter relapsed. I don't have any sources. I'm kidding. I don't have any sources. You think I have sources in the Biden White House? Here's the thing with the supply chain crisis. I'm surprised we still have one. Didn't Joe Biden fix it when he said he was going to keep the ports open?
It is considered.
What happened to that great fix 2 months ago? He's just going to keep them open 24/7, right? So I looked into this. Only one terminal in the two largest ports in L.A. and Long Beach, one terminal stayed up open overnight for a few days. No truckers came by. Not a single trucker came by to pick up some cargo. So they go, we're just going to close it. So what did Joe do? Did he solve the trucking issue? No, he slapped vax mandates on truckers, the people that literally don't come close to anyone in weeks. So that's what he did there. The reason we have this also, besides moving the factories to China, is because Fauci shut down this economy. No one's ever done that in the history of the world. Shut down an economy because of a pandemic. Why did he do it? Because it mostly affects old people who run the country. Old people. Old people don't want to die. They run things, so they're like, all right, no one get near me. So no one got near old people, but then the old people wouldn't let anybody else get near themselves, right? So everybody stayed home. And so as we came back up, Joe dropped $2 trillion in the same month as the economy reopened. That's like fiscal methamphetamine got built just right to the moon. And then we have this inflation. The economists are like, oh, my God. I didn't see this coming. It's like the only profession they get paid to not see things coming. You are always unexpected when you're an economist.
I think we should have a drug test.
You're more entertaining than Drunk History. Remember that show?
I love that. That sounded like Drunk History.
Actually, no, but buried within a lot of that was the truth.
Yeah.
Right, Geraldo, you were going to take issue with something there. Were you?
He said that the supply chain crisis is better.
I think supply chain they say it's eased by at least 1/3 and by the count of the containers. But we don't do stories about processes working. We only do things about
I couldn't find bananas at the grocery store yesterday. Yeah. Bananas.
You didn't. Where were you? In your neighborhood bodega? I don't.
Not
know.
A bodega. I don't go there.
But let me say this about inflation.
Yes.
David Brooks was right. In a white-hot economy, and we have a white-hot economy now, we have to face facts. That things are really buzzing. Dagan can tell us even more specifically with her great acumen in business. But with
Stop sucking up.
when business is humming, you do have some supply issues. Price goes up. People are getting more and more jobs. There are, for hire signs still everywhere. There are more people being hired. The workforce is expanding. We have, I think, a reasonable expectation in the first quarter of next year. We're going to have a functional, prosperous country if it is not derailed by COVID. I keep coming back to it. All of these stories about everything else mean nothing if the nation gets sick again and gets scared again and gets cloistered again and old people get isolated again.
Dagan, care to respond? After he buttered you up like a butterball turkey?
The economy is not hot for a lot of people. Yeah. Wages, adjusting for inflation or real wages, are down more than 2% since January of this year. So inflation is, for the upper class, is an inconvenience, but for working men and women in this country, it is a great hardship. And that is something, and I don't want to step on what Dana's going to talk about, but that is something from moment one, the Biden administration, Joe Biden himself, never got their heads around. They were slow to acknowledge it. They said, it's transitory. The Federal Reserve just keeps pumping juice into the economy. You got Ron Klain retweeting that it's a high-class problem. Total insensitivity to people who have to choose between Okay, what am I eating for dinner? And can I fill up my car tomorrow morning? And it's just, so of course Joe Biden's not going to talk today. He's like, you can see it. Oh my, I got to go out there and act like I care. I got to like, they do not care. And Jen Psaki today keeps saying that Build Back Better, this giant welfare monstrosity, is going to help inflation. See, again, those egghead economists are stupid. They didn't see this coming. The Fed, the inflation rate is 3 times what they expected it would be. And Jen Psaki standing up there telling the American people what they know is not true.
All right, Dana.
Well, I think part of the thing is that they initially said inflation wasn't happening. Then they said it would be temporary. And then they said, well, it's really not that bad. It's like your turkey's only $1 more.
Right.
Or it's a high-class problem. But then they realized, oh, wait, the poll numbers are actually showing something bad. So then they started to blame everyone. But the problem is they're not on the same page in terms of who they're blaming. For example, they are blaming energy companies for rising gas prices while at the same time talking to OPEC, begging them to increase production. Yeah. So it's like one bad thing after another.
There you go. One bad thing after another.
One comment.
The Biden administration.
How can you condemn Build Back Better at the same time you bemoan the situation with the lowest paid people, the most humble amongst us?
Because it's inflation that's eating into their wages.
What you're making is an argument for Build Back Better.
You are evidence. It's not because it's a welfare monstrosity and it pumps more money. It pumps more money into an economy that doesn't need more. That does not need more fiscal stimulus. Yeah, money that the economy doesn't
helps
need.
The poor.
Number one. You know what? You're evidence of what Democrats think about doing nothing. It's anathema to them.
Republican.
Get the hell out of the way. That's what you ought to do in this economy.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.